Greetings, one and all. Hey, hey, hey. How's it going? Chris Courtney here. Um, Giving this a little bit of a test before we officially go live. Um, I am I'm the dummy. I'm the dummy that updated their operating system, and without really thinking about like all the things that could go wrong in that scenario. Um, yeah. So it's been an interesting morning getting my streaming setup back up and running. Um, it appears to be working okay, but now we're having to wait to see if YouTube functions, if we actually are publishing to YouTube, and if CouchBot fires, which notifies everybody that we're live on the Discord channel. So we're looking for that. I'm basically watching Discord right now while that happens, and this is a good example of or a good reminder, because I historically wait to do software updates because mainly because of technical issues related to building websites and how it can mess with development environments. Um, and I've updated before, and then I updated too soon. There wasn't a patch for something, and then the next thing you know, I'm having to rethink how we publish some site because the update broke everything. It's not that anything changed with the site; everything changed with the update. Um, and that happened here, but I wasn't clearly thinking about, oh, how might this alter the way that we publish to YouTube, for instance, the way that the live stream works. And what's ironic is I found another service that works a lot like OBS, which is what I use, Open Broadcast Software, OBS, for our streaming. And I found something called StreamYard. There's a conference going on, and they're utilizing StreamYard. And I got to be honest, StreamYard looks great. There's a workaround. It's all web based, and it publishes pretty much instantaneously. In a lot of ways, it is far superior, in my opinion, as a solution. Um, the only problem, I believe, the only problem I really see with it is the fact that that it's a paid service and OBS is free. So it's like, why pay for some? The question is always, okay, are the incremental improvements that are made available worth the fee? And I'm still on the fence about that. I can't determine. It's close. It's definitely close. So if you're looking for streaming, if you're trying to do streaming, I would encourage you to take a look at StreamYard, particularly if you're put off by any sort of hiccup related to technical glitches. Ideally, I mean, specifically like the one I just had. If I updated operating systems, because StreamYard's in a browser, StreamYard's not going to care, provided that I can get access to the browser. To where OBS freaked out, just like it would just instantly crash. It would just instantly crash. And that's the sort of thing you have to be on the lookout for when you're developing sites. But I am a little concerned because I have not seen CouchBot fire as of yet. And so I'm going to take a peek over here at YouTube. Oh, okay, so maybe we got a CouchBot issue because YouTube has fired. So that's good. I know that all this has been recorded, and that's a small feather in the cap. So let's see if we can get CouchBot. Oh, and there is CouchBot. Okay, well that's fine. That's good. Success. But these are the things that you're getting a live look, folks, at what it's like to run your own thing. The hiccups, anything that goes wrong, you own all of it. So all successes and all failures the buck stops here. So with that said, this will not be something. I'll clip this off the final recording. There's no value in it. It's you riding along with reality. So with all that said, let's leave the station. Greetings, one and all. Chris Courtney here, New Pragmatics. Time for the feedback loop. I'm so glad to be back. We've got Katie and Abby both in this morning. They're different spots of the program. Katie is in the UI prototyping phase for Fresh Market, and Abby is working through the school project. Very much in her initial survey work there. So. We've got a couple of different ways, a couple of different directions we're going to look today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can get this underway. Okay, first things first, let's start over here with Katie. Katie has been working on her Fresh Market project for a little while. You can see her project is getting more and more robust. One of the things that Katie worked on, hello. Yeah, there we go. There we go. It's funny when I go for quick keys. It's like I'm just hitting buttons, particularly if I'm not like looking at what I'm pressing. So one of the things Katie did from the last time we spoke was she cleaned up this login screen. And let's get those back because I want to see what we got here. So I did want to take a look at like what are the styles on this body copy. Okay, so that's 18. This is getting a little big up here. So that is something to look out for. 18's pretty large. Typically somewhere it's on the upper side. Somewhere between 12 and 18 is ideal. So you're on the upper echelon there. Upper side of that range. I do like the fact that you moved this out from being just placeholder text to being a proper label. That's good. I am curious about the placement of this create account. It seems like if anything that I'm gonna bust this apart. I'm gonna detach the instance for a second just so I can get down here. Seems like that created account most logically goes in alignment with login, not off to the side. But I'm going to undo that because I didn't really want to detach. There we go. So it's not detached. But I would consider that adjustment. This forgot password's fine. But here you're filling in the phrases. It goes from inactive to active, which is nice. One of the things that I would mention here is you don't necessarily need a screen for this bit. You very easily could just do this as a modal off to the side. If I could figure out where it went. Let's find your buttons. I'm sure you've got a button here that's functional for this. Buttons and cards. So if I pull this over here and we say, login. Actually, I'm gonna pull it right here. So if you wanted this to go live, wow. Okay, so this is now kind of off over here to the side. You can adjust the login as needed. So if you log in. So if you were going from here, once this is filled, if we go into prototype mode, once this is filled, you could actually go over to this modal and on. So like when they click to fill this, on click navigate to becomes open overlay, and you could well, I think you actually have to have this as a frame. So I'm going to I'm going to frame the selection. So now this is frame 18. You can give it a name if you want to, but on click, when they get to here, we could open overlay, frame 18. You could manually place that, and what that means is that it's just going to, you want it to replace that non-active state, and the animation you could dissolve or whatever. So now instead of having to insert an entirely new screen down below, you could just like come over to here to this, and that would make it available. So that's just one thing to consider, using a modal like that instead of having to copy the entire screen and move it down. Another thing I wanted to look at was you had your prototype, and you said that you had made some adjustments. So I want to come in and take a look at where those adjustments were. Let's see, where does the prototype begin? Oh, okay, so it looks like the prototype is down here now. I'm not sure if that's where it was intended to be, because I know you made your cleanups over here, so I'm going to just move that prototype for our purposes to right here. Let's go ahead and get this into screen share. All right, so all right, so oh, that was interesting. Okay, so we're here. The problem here I've got right now is if I click anywhere, it activates. So what we really want to do there is come down to this screen, because this is where this is happening. We don't want the entire screen to move. We want this customize button to move. And when that happens, it should instead of, if we go back to popular, and let's restart this, customize, so now nothing, I can click anywhere and nothing's going to happen until I hit customize, and then this becomes available, and then I want to be able to, it's interesting. Oh, I see another issue. So now we're down here with this new screen, and what you really need to do is you need to be able to select these items, but you also, on navigation to the next screen, you want to preserve this scroll position, because that's what's occurring here. Like when those two transition, it jumps up. We've seen this happen before, so let's get rid of that. Let's come in here and let's say apply. Let's use apply as the tracker, and let's now say preserve scroll position. Okay, so on click navigate to dissolve. let's see how that works for us. So we're restart. I'm gonna hit this one. I'm gonna say customize. Okay, so there's a step here that this one needs to preserve scroll position as well. So let's restart, customize, apply, and now that's working as intended. It looks like a lot of this got cleaned up, but it looks like this area where we had talked about restacking that information did not get addressed. So I would like to see some work there. Back over here on the wireframe, if we get away from the prototype for a second, when we're looking at the cart, there's a couple of things that come to mind that I'd like to see. One, I think it's nice that you're sticking to the grid, but it's kind of interesting. You're not sticking to the grid on the right, in that, you know, this really should be one column over. There should be some space between, and then this is not sticking to the grid. It's like this stepper is now in sync with the header, but I don't know that the header really needs to be here. This menu, how it works, about us, locations, cart, like that information right there that the stepper is lining up with, I don't really believe that has to be there. So I could understand if you wanted to have a way to get back to the prior screen, but you have a continue shopping here and a checkout. So this nav up here is suspect. Additionally, you know, you've indicated like special customizations. It seems like that should be represented here in the cart. Additionally, there should be some sort of edit on each of these that's not currently present. I can see I can update the quantity and I can continue shopping, but I can't actually go in and edit the steak fajita bowl, which is problematic if I oh, I didn't make that, I didn't ask for beans, or I didn't, oh, I need to request no sour cream because of lactose intolerant or whatever. That's not here. So we need to get that that into this screen, because otherwise you're going to have a lot of people having to say, okay, well, how do I go edit this, and then going back to continue shopping, and then kind of finding a workaround. So there's 2 or 3 things on this page that I think you should take a peek at. You know, do you need these elements up here? You know, do I need to, if I'm in the cart, do I need to read the About Us page, or do I need to go to the menu? I don't think so. I'm in the cart and I have a way to get there with continue shopping. Okay, so a couple of different things to look for there that I think will be beneficial. A couple of prototyping tweaks that I think are necessary, and we'll circle back soon with your updates on that. Let's take a look at Abby's survey. So thanks, Grammarly. Appreciate that. Let's go to the survey. And okay, so you've got an intro here. How do we revamp public schools to make them functional during, I would say almost to optimize them for the pandemic and beyond. The survey this survey is an ongoing study on how current public school students' learning experience has changed during COVID-19 restrictions. Have you or somebody? Yes. Okay. What is your relationship with the school and community? I'm a parent. What's your current status? I am a work-from-home parent. What type of environment does your child currently use for quiet room? Wi-Fi access home. What materials was your child requested to have this year but don't have, or I would say doesn't have? What materials was your child required to have this year but does not have? that's gonna possibly generate a none, and then I'm not really sure that's a useful question. So I might alter this to say, um, does your child have all the required materials needed for this year? Yes, no. And if yes, it's just a yes, and you move on. If it's a no, that you use the conditional logic to go ask us a follow up question. Oh, what what materials were missing, or what materials are missing? How did your child eat lunch during the school week before COVID-19? Um, uh, Make it home and bring it. Services your school is still providing. Guidance counselor, teaching assistant. Next. So yeah, this is a required. So if I said, oh, I don't have anything, I can't really answer that question. So I'm just gonna say none. Next. Yes. For me at me.com and submit, and the response has been recorded. Okay. So this overall was pretty good. I saw a couple of spots where the questions could be altered, but overall I think you're on the right track. But look out for the little tenses, like what the question about do you have well, let me just get back to it. Yeah, I'm a parent. This question: what materials was your child required to have this year but don't have? Like that sounds weird, right? So you can write a better question than that. And then, is that a place where conditional logic needs to be? But overall, think about where this started at. Where this started at was, tell me about how you've been impacted, and then you'd ask them some questions, and now you have an opportunity to identify a student, to identify a parent, to identify a teacher, to identify an administrator. You have the ability to see who you're working with at a psychographic what they're doing level instead of a demographic who they are level. And I'm way more interested in the actions of the person than who the person is, how much money they make, and all that. I think we can get to that eventually, but I'm way more interested in what does that person do that's related to the school. So this overall is very good. And you were asking a question about where to send these, and one thing I would look at would be like Reddit. Sorry about that. So Reddit.com. Let's go to public school. Let's search for public schools. And I'm not signed in, so public schools. There's 118 members. COVID schools. So, here's one. Teachers. There's 183,000 people in this teachers Reddit. This would be a great place to post that. What about, let's see, is there a PTA channel? Yeah, but there's only 375 members. Parent, teacher. That leads you to teachers. Parenting. Parenting would probably be another place to put this. 2.7 million people. Members, not people. A lot of those are bots. Let's just search for school. And I think we said public school, or let's search high school. Yeah, teenagers, high school, COVID. Let's search for COVID. 300,000, 2.3 million. I mean, there's lots of places on Reddit where you can post the survey. Okay, Facebook would be another place that I would look at, but like Facebook teachers. I'm sure that We Are Teachers might be a place to do this, and I'd have to sign up. The problem with a lot of these places is you have to kind of become a member of. You have to sign up for access to those things. Where with Reddit, it's a little easier, but that's one of the ways that you can go through and begin drilling down toward those demographics. Of course, you can post it on Twitter and you can send emails out to friends, but are you going to get access to a group like you would with posting to the teacher's channel on Reddit? No. Teacher, you're looking for feedback from instructors. That's the place to post it. Okay? And keep that in mind. You can shift that dynamic and thinking to also to different demographics. And it doesn't matter when you post. You just have to find the right group of people. The record right now is around 300 responses in 2 days. Not 300, 3,000 responses, and over the course of 2 days, it was for a I forget what the app was. It was some sort of pairing app that a student a couple of years ago posted to Reddit and just got hammered with responses. So keep that in mind. Reddit's a really good place for posting those and doing some guerrilla user research cohort creation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. No. Wait. What happened? Oh no. Oh crap. Oh crap. OBS, I think, crashed in the middle of that. I'm not sure what was recorded. Damn it. Still says I'm streaming. I have no idea. I'm gonna have to edit that fast. Well, we'll see what comes out of this. I have no idea whether that recorded or not. Again, kids, this is what happens when you and now the transitions aren't working. Man, this has been like hitting every branch this morning. And that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Feedback Loop. I've got a lot of editing to do on this version. So I hope that this was beneficial, especially for Katie and Abby. It's been beneficial for me because I'm learning a lot about my new setup and all the things that aren't quite working yet. But I hope to have all of that ironed out for tomorrow's video. Otherwise, I will chat. I have meetings with some of you later today, and otherwise I will